Yo, Base Guru, what's up, dude? You beat Denalid Bot. Oh, Denalid coming in with the hydrate, though. Right off the bat, man. Batman. My guy. What's up, dude? Good to see you. How are we doing this morning, everybody? Thanks for being here. Happy Monday. That was a way off, but alright, sure. We got game news this morning. I'm pretty excited. There's not like some major stuff to talk about, but Silksong has impacted the industry in a big way. So we're going to jump into all of that, and it's going to be good. I have lots of thoughts and opinions. He needs to adjust his bot. The doodads button moved on mobile, yeah. There's one thing I do want to add to the stream at the end. It's a trailer I was really hyped about, and I want to share it with people. Oh my gosh, why are we getting ads? YouTube, stop it. What's up, everybody? Good morning. How are we doing? Wherever you're watching from, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. All right, yeah, we'll get on this in a moment. I don't have any other like trailers. They haven't done a whole lot else, but let me look at one last thing before we actually start. This song is such a jam. Alright, that's not something we're talking about then. I thought there was news and there wasn't. Dude, I was just bopping along. That was my bad. Alright, what's up, everybody? Well, let's just jump in. Why don't we? Good morning, good to see ya. Happy Monday. What a weekend, right? I had a lot of fun. Trying to get to my music mix here. It needs to come down a significant amount. But anyway, good to see everybody. Welcome back to another game news show. It's Monday. So we're going to be talking about stuff that happened over the weekend, or at least since last Wednesday, which hasn't been a lot. Been real quiet. I don't know. Jenkins, I am alive. Or at least I hope so. But there wasn't a whole lot going on over the weekend, which could be a good thing. Could be... I don't know. I don't know how to take it. But we got a lot to talk about. Silksong is the biggest thing. It has impacted the industry in a way that I didn't anticipate, and I don't know that anybody else could have anticipated. We're going to talk about that. There's a lot to talk about with Silksong. Just... From what it was originally going to be to what it is now, there's a lot. We have several articles to cover, but let's jump in with our first article here. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds leak reveals unannounced DLC rider. It's from Insider Gaming. CrossWorlds may have spoiled a new DLC rider by accident if the leak is true. Upcoming racing title, which sees Sonic and friends compete in high-octane races, is one that fans are excited to play. I myself is included in excited to play camp. With the open beta ending last weekend and a demo on the way, September's 22nd, 25 release date can't come soon enough. Unfortunately, a new leak may have ruined the surprise of a famous Sega character being free DLC. And so somebody snagged a picture of the box art, and we can see Knights in here. That's a beloved Sega IP for back in the Saturn days. And that character, they've not talked about Knights being in the game at all. And so that's kind of weird that's where we are. But kind of cool. It's not a major leak, and it's not like, oh gosh, whatever. It's not surprising. It should be in the game. Knights should be included with all the other Sega properties included. So it kind of makes sense to me. But anyway, we got that. That's cool. Looking forward to picking up this game. And Knights is just a nice inclusion. I love the original game. The Wii sequel was not great. But we'll leave it at that. All right, let's move on. The Lenovo Legion Go 2, Lenovo Legion Go 2. These handhelds need shorter names. I don't want the Asus Xbox ROG Ally X Plus Premium Edition. Just call it like something better. So the Lenovo words. Lenovo Legion Go 2 releases in October, starting at eye-wateringly $1,100. This is just a gaming handheld PC. Gaming PC handheld. What am I trying to say? It's a handheld. You want my handheld. Anyway, Lenovo. Lenovo has officially revealed the Legion Go 2, the sequel to the 2023 handheld gaming PC. The handheld was first shown as a prototype at CES 2025, but is now set to come to market on October 31st. Happy Halloween, everybody. The Lenovo Legion Go 2 is a Windows 11 based handheld PC that features the same 8.8-inch screen as its predecessor. The difference there, however, is the new screen is an OLED panel with a 1920 by 1200 resolution, down from the 2560 by 1600 of the original, and 144 Hz refresh rate. So I gotta say, it's a very large handheld. Cries in poor. It's very large. I have had the opportunity to mess with the original Legion Go or whatever it's called, and that thing is beefy. An OLED screen though, oh my gosh, that is like premium product. Joy-Con style controllers are pretty cool. Obviously not used in the same way the Switch and Switch 2 use their Joy-Cons entirely. I don't know if there's motion built in. Probably can be used as a mouse. Nintendo's ideas aren't all that original. But it is a very cool product. Would this be better than the ROG Ally, the Xbox version? I think so. The OLED screen and the bigger screen seems more appealing. But the specs, which we'll jump into here, it's using I believe the same chipset as the ROG Ally and ROG Ally X. So you get the Legion Go 2 and the Legion Go 2 Z2 Extreme. And yeah, you're just getting slightly more performance. You can get 16 or 32 gigs of memory. This one definitely has 32 gigs of memory. The screen's the exact same. Battery's the exact same. All the inputs are the exact same. Really, the only difference, and this is $1,200, $1,100, depending on how much RAM, $1,350 or $1,480. Where they're different is the CPU and GPU. So it's an APU, so the processor and GPU are all in one, right? That's what we're seeing. Consoles have been doing it for years. Now it's in handhelds. So now, the difference is performance. You can get slightly better performance, better graphics, maybe better everything else. I don't know what the differences are between the Z2 and the Z2 Extreme, but that's the APU in it. Looking forward to seeing how this works. I believe it's the exact same chipset or very close to what's in the Asus Xbox ROG Ally X featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. These names are getting out of hand, chat. The difference is the extremities. Yeah, Nintendo really did start a whole new market and perfected it. I think so. But I'm looking forward to this releasing. I like the competition in this space because it's way more interesting. It's how optimal of a PC can we build. And then this article, I don't think it covered it. I just kind of gave up on it because reading about the specs isn't as interesting. But the Legion Go 2 is getting the same full screen Xbox experience that the Asus ROG Ally is getting with the one that releases pretty soon. So it just kind of feels like Microsoft is going to go, hey, everything that runs Windows 11 on these handhelds will get this full Xbox mode, and it's going to be good, and you should look forward to it. And I think that's necessary. Like the targeted performance and everything else is super good. Again, interesting to see how these go head to head. Yo, what's up, Dan? Good to see you, man. How was your weekend? All right. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. I'm looking forward to this, though. I'm very, very strongly considering a handheld PC device. Yeah, buy money. Indeed. All right. A slight update on Kingdom Hearts 4 and I guess Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Nomura insists, well, let's just read the article. The subtitle usually gives it away. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced during a Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event in 2022. 2022, guys. That's when that trailer came out. And since then, little detail has been shared. I added an S. Meanwhile, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is expected to close out the remake trilogy on the current generation of consoles and has reportedly been in development for more than 2 years. Le gasp. Speaking during a new live stream translated by that guy on X, director Nomura was asked for an update on the two games and claimed that they were progressing well. Regarding Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, Toriyama supposedly said we will have news around the time of the second anniversary of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. We are making great progress on the game, he said. I can't say anything else, but we are indeed making a lot of progress with the game. We already have decided when we will make the announcement as well, and we'll stick to that time schedule, so don't worry, but please wait for it. He added, on the same note, I'm seeing a lot of comments asking about Kingdom Hearts 4. We are making great strides and going according to schedule, so please wait for more information on that. What's the schedule for Kingdom Hearts 4? When I'm 50? That's in an uncomfortably small number of years. I just need you guys to realize this. I was 16, 15? I was a youngin' when the original launched. I've doubled my age since Kingdom Hearts 1. You know? Making gains in the gym, playing Overwatch? Nice. I gotta get back in the gym. That's gotta happen. So yeah. It's like, what are we waiting on? You know, what's the ROI on Kingdom Hearts? Dude, Disney's been making a bigger push in it. Let's talk about that. 39 here. Yeah, I just turned 37, so I feel you. Literally last week became 37. All right, last year, the director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth said he wants to see the remake trilogy appearing on more platforms. The first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake was initially a PS4 exclusive before coming to PS5 and PC more than a year later. The second part, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, followed suit by initially releasing only on PS5. I imagine it's coming at some point. Joined the Beard Gang as well, but I never got to your league. Happy birthday. Thanks, man. Doubled age at half sanity and energy. Get out of here, Jenkins. But anyway, I was just excited to see something for Kingdom Hearts because I've really just been wondering, is the game okay? Is Sora still happening? Like, are we still getting Kingdom Hearts 4? It looks like we are, eventually, maybe, one day. You know, I might be a grandparent by then, but who knows? Hopefully not. But it is what it is. Anyhow, let's move on. Alright, I thought this was interesting. This is a very small bit of thing. But Steven Spielberg was interested in directing a Call of Duty movie. So we got news last week, and I don't know if I covered it, but Paramount is going to be heading up producing a Call of Duty movie. And apparently, Spielberg wanted to direct the movie. And let's see, the report adds, Spielberg is famously a big gamer and has a special love for the Call of Duty franchise. However, when bringing Spielberg on, Activision would have to abide by his rules, which include top-of-market economics, Final Cut, and full control over production and marketing. These requirements spooked Activision, and they opted for David Ellison's pitch instead, as it provided them with more control over the movie. Nevertheless, as this information does not come from an official source, readers should approach it with caution. So basically, Spielberg was like, I want to make the Call of Duty movie, and I want to make it my way, and you have to do what I say. I'm Steven Spielberg. Imagine this situation in like the 90s. Spielberg wants to make a video game movie on a huge franchise. You don't turn Spielberg down. But now, gaming is so big, Activision's just like, nah, we're not doing that. Does feel like it might be a bad idea, because it is Steven Spielberg. Like, what? Hopefully that Call of Duty movie doesn't turn bad, but I don't know. That seems like a mistake, doesn't it? You have to do it my way. I'm Steven Spielberg. Not many people can get away with that. Oh, it's true though. It's so true. Like, I don't see what would have been spooky about being told, hey, look, I know that you guys own this IP, but I have made movies for decades now. You know, like, come on. Times have changed for boomers. They're not running the world. It's just crazy. I don't know what the Steven Spielberg Call of Duty would have been, but good gravy. Anyhow. All right. Let's talk about Wolverine. We're getting to Silksong. It's coming. Insomniac Games' Wolverine is likely to be at PlayStation's next State of Play. Insider gaming sources have revealed that Insomniac Games' Wolverine is ready to be shown off for the first time officially since the 2021 PlayStation Showcase. According to sources who wish to remain anonymous as they couldn't talk about company plans, PlayStation is currently planning its next State of Play event toward the end of September. Which is wild to think about. Why would they be doing that? You know, like, what's going on? Are we getting a State of Play? It's very interesting. These leaks are all over the place, though. It's so weird to me. Also, I just realized that my mic effects weren't on. So if you're watching this after the fact, my voice suddenly sounds weird. None of the effects were on. And I just remembered to fix it. Middle of the stream. Anyway. The State of Play has been rumored. We've talked about this last week. Rumored for the end of this month. And, yeah, what do they have to show? Well, Wolverine, that's a good place for it. Just sounds as squeaky as normal. Excuse me? Wow, Dan. Other sources revealed that Insomniac Games' Wolverine is almost certainly going to be at the event, as the production of its next trailer has now been completed. If the game doesn't appear at the State of Play, then the trailer will undoubtedly be released in the next few months, with the Game Awards being the next likely candidate. That's true. Game Awards are coming up. The ransomware attack leaked a bunch of stuff from Insomniac in December and whatever. And so, yeah, there's a high chance that Wolverine shows up at the next State of Play, which is at the end of this month. So, looking forward to that. Hopefully we get more. Hopefully the game looks good. Mic drop. Wow. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I hope it's I hope it's in the same vein as Spider-Man, being, you know, a Marvel property and everything. But I want this to be more of like a brawler than a like open world exploration game. I think a brawler would make more sense for Wolverine. I don't know about open world exploration. Wolverine's pretty like mission focused as a hero. He doesn't just wander and explore, you know? Anyway, cool. I'm excited to see it. I hope we get a good trailer and get some gameplay. All right, let's go. All right, let's talk about Silksong's launch last week. Hammer's Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation and Nintendo stores. Many players have been left unable to purchase the highly anticipated game, which finally launched on Thursday. Broke the internet. Team Cherry's much anticipated Metroidvania sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong, caused technical issues across virtually all major storefronts when it released on Thursday, with many players left unable to access the game. Shortly after Silksong, the most wish-listed title on Steam went live. Users reported being unable to access its game page on Steam or purchase the title on Xbox, PlayStation, or Switch. Players had more luck purchasing the game remotely via PlayStation, Xbox websites, or apps, and accessing in that way, but otherwise, it was one final frustrating wait for players who long awaited Silksong's release. On Nintendo Switch systems, Nintendo was even forced to take the eShop store offline for maintenance at the time of publishing. Switch and Switch 2 stores remain offline. Is that true? No. Maybe during the day. That I'm sure they came back, though. But that's crazy. Like, crashing, breaking the internet, destroying the eShop. Nintendo eShop crashing for an indie game made by 3 people. I actually love that. That's a great post. So Silksong has been the subject of significant fan anticipation since its announcement 6 years ago, with virtually every major game show prompting speculation that it could finally reappear. Since it was announced in 2019, very little had been seen of Silksong until its surprise appearance at Gamescom in Germany, where it was finally confirmed for release just 2 weeks later. The original Hollow Knight has sold over 15 million copies since its release 8 years ago, making it the best-selling Metroidvania game in the genre's history. Its sequel has been described as GTA 6 for indies, with many indie developers recently moving their game releases to avoid it. So yes, we all know the memes. We all know how excited everybody was for Silksong. Over time and again, every Nintendo Direct was, is this Silksong? Is Silksong coming? Is it coming out now? Where is it? What are we waiting on? Team Cherry hasn't said anything. Is the game canceled? And then it released this year. It'd be awesome. The internet blew up on Thursday and over the weekend. The concurrent players on Steam were off the chart. People were so excited for this game. It's fantastic. I love seeing games. I love seeing good games being wildly successful, and Silksong has not disappointed in that regard. Well earned, fantastic game. Looks great. I'm sure it plays great. I haven't played it yet, but it's just the kind of if it's anything like the original Hollow Knight, which it's a sequel made by the exact same people, so I can assume it's a fantastic game. Getting good reviews, come on. Let's use our logic hats. Anyway, game looks great. It launched on Steam, broke Steam, and everywhere else. I'm excited for it, right? It's fantastic. But this is an indie title. And this is also in the same year we got Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which was made by a small team who had a very focused mission and have been very successful with their game. These are 2 games that didn't have a big AAA budget, marketing, none of that. No big publisher, just, hey, we're a small team, we have a small studio, we wanted to make a game, we made a game. Then Silksong launches at $20, and it's like, what? That's insane value. Not to mention if you have Game Pass, well, hey, now you have Silksong on Game Pass as well. Like, there's so much to this game that isn't just the game. The impact this game is having on the industry is unprecedented. But this is awesome, right? To see. Well, let's go on. So, somebody pointed out, Hollow Knight Silksong strained stores, but will GTA 6 snap them entirely? This is from Insider Gaming's Grant Taylor. Hollow Knight Silksong is finally here, and when it dropped on September 4th, it promptly brought digital storefronts across PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo to their knees. As these platforms buckled under the weight of millions of fans, many started assuming that if Silksong could crash these stores, a game like GTA 6 might crucify them. Silksong accrued more than 500,000 players on Steam alone within hours of release, causing the platform to drop as all these fans kicked off their downloads at the same time, and that's just one example. What can be done to ensure that GTA 6 doesn't decimate the global internet infrastructure when it releases next May? It said, what happened with Silksong? Well, it was an instant smash hit for Team Cherry, with the game skyrocketing up the charts within minutes of being released globally. On Twitch, it exceeded 300,000 viewers before it had even been released, and the demand for the game was so intense, the GamePass verification servers were knocked offline. In many ways, it was an infrastructure stress test, and by some measure, it was a success. It exposed a critical vulnerability in the increasingly digital world of gaming that can be crippled entirely when a title like GTA 6 is released. Fair enough. Silksong was released with no pre-order build up, one trailer, and almost no time between the release date announcement and the go-live date coming around. By contrast, GTA 6 has had one of the most record-breaking marketing loops we've ever seen, and it dominates every conversation about the future of gaming. Are we on a precipice? What platform providers must do to prepare? Silksong wasn't even an exceptional circumstance. We've seen this kind of thing occur with many major launches in recent history. For instance, when Fallout 76 was released in 2018, first-time online title from Bethesda offered rampant server instability. WoW Classic dropped in 2019, and unexpected server load led to queues of tens of thousands of gamers. When Blizzard pivoted Overwatch 2 to a free-to-play model in 2022, it came with severe server overload issues. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was awful. Oh man. Excuse me. When Overwatch 2 launched as the free-to-play version of Overwatch, you couldn't log in. You sat at the menu, like the title screen. Anyway, every time Escape from Tarkov has a wipe, the servers go haywire and queues crop up all over the place. When Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker came out in 2021, queues became so sizable that Square Enix had to temporarily halt sales. These are the risks we face, and it can be argued that these games won't be a patch on GTA 6. So what can they do to prepare? Allowing preloads and staggered access windows can flatten the curve on launch day and prevent swarming. Invest in cloud-based elastic servers to cope with scaling up and down over a launch window. Have a failover redundancy system for servers that allows for a seamless takeover. Offer better communication on social media and status sites when an incident is taking place. Silksong was a glimpse of what happens when the most highly anticipated games leap face first into a very eager market all at once. There are concerns that GTA 6 could take what Silksong did and replicate it tenfold, threatening the stability of digital platforms everywhere next year. This article is exaggerating slightly. Yeah, a little bit. I like the point they're making, but I think the difference is preload will definitely exist for GTA 6. Average user, nothing can be done but wait and see if Rockstar Games, Take-Two, and those who oversee the global network infrastructure have done enough to prepare for the GTA 6 release. I mean, these points are good. Preloads and staggered access windows are good, but GTA 6 will most certainly allow preloading. Elastic servers, I mean, they should already be doing this. Like, this should already be a thing. But that's more on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and Steam to do than it is for Take-Two. These redundancy systems, again, if these aren't already in place, the elastic servers and any kind of redundancy, that would surprise me. And then comms on social media, yeah, these are getting better. So yes, this is a lot of dooming and glooming, but it is a good point that, you know, when GTA 6 finally releases, will the internet break? More than likely, some stuff will get hammered. I think the GTA 6, like, whatever the multiplayer is, those servers are going to struggle. Because for some reason, no matter how hyped up an online game is, even with updates and patches and stuff, they never, like, estimate correctly how hard the servers are going to be hit. So I guarantee GTA 6 Online, day one, is going to be a struggle session for a lot of people. Might work for some, but a lot of people are going to struggle to get in. It is what it is. You know, there's only so much bandwidth that can go around. Until there's more added, anyway. But yeah. Will GTA 6 break the internet? Yes, in a lot of ways. Are the storefronts going to go down? Probably not this time. The issue with Silksong is it went, hey, the game's coming out next week. And we went, yay, download today. You know, like, that's what happened. Wave everyone playing it, multiplayer won't come out immediately. No way they will do that like they did with the current game. In a few days, people get in and stagger their server openings like some games do. I mean, maybe. We don't know. But yes, I thought this was a good point, but you're right. It's a little exaggerated. It is a little dooming and glooming going on here. Was it fear, uncertainty, and doubt? I think it's a good point to bring up now, but I mean, it's going to end up being a nothing burger at the end of the day. But Silksong's effect continues. It's more than just this massive release and the concern for other releases that could be bigger, that will be bigger. It's also Being review bombed in China. Actually, this has not a lot to do with the games industry as a whole. I just thought this was interesting. Being review bombed in China, 82% of Hollow Knight Silksong's Steam reviews may be positive, but it seems the adoration hasn't been universal, with hundreds of Chinese-speaking players slamming Team Cherry for issues with the sequel's translations. It's been such a problem, in fact, that even though Silksong's reviews are chiefly either very or overwhelming positive, when you isolate by language, Silksong's simplified Chinese Steam reviews are sitting on an anomalous mixed rating. Perhaps unsurprisingly, then, Team Cherry's Matthew Griffin directly addressed Chinese-speaking players on X Twitter overnight, acknowledging the issue and confirming we'll be working to improve the translation over the coming weeks. To our Chinese-speaking fans, we appreciate you letting us know about the quality issues with the current simplified Chinese translation of Hollow Knight Silksong. We'll be working to improve the translation over the coming weeks. Thank you for your feedback and support. I mean, how big is this team? They probably had to use some kind of Google Translate, AI Translate, or something. And even then, that's going to be wonky. You know, it is what it is. They'll fix it. They've got to. You know? I mean, what? I don't know why I wouldn't expect it to get fixed. But, I mean, when your game is so successful that the worst thing people are saying is, hey, this translation is bad. You know, could be worse. Anyway. All right. Here's where I didn't anticipate an issue. This is from Screen Rant, but this is a very good point. Hollow Knight Silksong's ridiculous price is causing controversy. Silksong has proven to be an enormous success since it launched a mere few days ago. But that doesn't mean it hasn't managed to garner a little controversy along the way. While we should undeniably be praising Silksong for its many significant highlights, its enormous influence on the gaming industry, as well as its huge loyal following, warrants a little closer examination than other indie games. Critically, this isn't to do with Silksong's review bombing campaign, which the developers have already apologized for. Rather, it's to do with Silksong's pricing, something that has caused quite a considerable stir within the indie gaming development community. While many are rather pleased that Silksong costs so little, many are concerned about what it could mean for the future of all indie games. So this subtitle here, it's this article. I have a lot of opinions on this, but like, let's just get through the article and then I'll rant a bit. It's causing other developers to reconsider their prices. In what way? Hollow Knight Silksong's unbelievably low price point of just $19.99 is exceptionally good value for the customer. It's an incredibly lengthy game that is only marginally more expensive than its predecessor, although it has 8 years of inflation under its belt. However, as good as it is for ordinary folk, it is proving to be a source of controversy for other indie developers, who believe it will distort players' expectations. $20 for potentially 30 to 40 hours of content is a great value proposition, but it is easy for Team Cherry to price it so low. Developer RJ Lake discussed this very idea on Blue Sky, stating Team Cherry can price however low they want. As a result, their return on their investment is infinite no matter what they do. The sheer success of Hollow Knight, coupled with the staggering amount of hype behind Silksong before launch, practically guaranteed this to be true. However, other developers don't have that luxury and can't afford to charge even less to match new expectations. $20 for a 5 or 10 hour game may seem like a bad value when Silksong costs the same. Developer Basti Art Games lamented on Twitter that they were contemplating making their latest game $20, but it only lasts around 10 hours, worrying that they can't afford to give it away for free. Fortunately, there's a potential silver lining. And I don't agree with this. Silksong's price could make GTA 6 cheaper. No, it couldn't. This doesn't only negatively affect Silksong. This isn't the only negative effect Silksong has had on the indie gaming scene. Numerous developers delayed games thanks to Silksong dominating September and likely October too. However, as much as its pricing model and sheer presence have caused a few issues, there's a chance it could do some good. For example, Silksong costing so little yet still making an enormous profit, potentially as a result, could influence GTA 6. For a long while, many have worried GTA 6 will cost $100, something that a lot feel would be a mistake. I mean, probably. However, Rockstar may not need to price it so high. Hitting a lower price point might actually generate more sales and thus longer-term revenue, so long as production costs aren't utterly obscene. It would certainly be nice for Hollow Knight Silksong to influence Grand Theft Auto 6 for the better, if only a little. I don't know why people keep comparing Silksong to GTA. It's two different scenarios. Excuse me, so sorry. That snuck up on me. Anyway, the issue with the pricing, though, if you're an indie dev and you've got a new game and you're pricing it at $20 and you're worried that other people aren't going to like it because Silksong is a massive game priced at $20, are you competing with Silksong? Are you offering a similar game? Are you just worried that because Silksong is $20, people are going to go, "Oh, but this game's $20. Your game isn't worth $20." I don't know what to tell you. It's like that's how you're going to look at it. Then yeah, you're in for a bad time no matter what. I don't think it makes much sense to criticize Team Cherry for making their decision to price their game the way they want to and go, "Oh, well, it's going to affect us negatively." And it's like, well, that's business. You know? That's how the free market works. You come out and price your game however you want, and you may have to adjust it. You may have to increase it. Maybe you missed the mark. I don't know. Excuse me. I think just holding these guys to a standard that's like, well, you should have priced your game higher for the rest of us is a bold stance to take. And I don't even understand, like, the game's been in development for a while. They probably didn't want to go past a certain price point a long time ago, you know? And the original Hollow Knight wasn't expensive either, just because it's popular. By that token, Among Us should go up in price, and Peak should be way more expensive too, because it's a popular game. People are buying it. Peak's a better value than Hollow Knight 2 by that argument, just because it's $8. You know, like, you're minimizing your own efforts when you make this comparison. Like, if that's what you're doing, if you're making a game and you're worried, like this guy, you know, they're going to be successful, but then this one wants 20. They're making their indie game for $20, and you know they're making a 5 or 10 hour game or whatever. Like, that's okay. That's your work. Price it in a way that compensates you fairly for your efforts, not to try to get, not to try to like meet some standard you didn't set for yourself. Just do what you need to do and make a good game. People are going to get so worried about, I don't know. It seems like comparison, strictly comparison. Oh, they're successful. I'll never be that successful. Well, you don't know that. You're making your game. Make your game. They're scared the AAA bubble is popping. That's where I was coming to. I wanted to address the indie devs first because, like, I understand why you might feel threatened by Silksong, but you didn't make Hollow Knight. You don't get, you need to make a good game. The reason Silksong is popular is because of the work they did for the original Hollow Knight. It's not that Team Cherry just, thought up a brand new game out of nothing. They built on what they did right the first time. So if you're releasing your first ever indie game, good luck. I hope it's good. On the flip side, the GTA 6 comparison, I'm excited to see that AAA bubble pop. Because it's being torn. It's being the needle has poked through the bubble. Because with Claire Obscure and I'm so sorry, my phone's ringing. Anyway, making sure it wasn't my wife. With Claire Obscure Expedition 33 being a massive success, and now we have Silksong also being a massive success. The realization is, we want cheaper games, but we still want good games. We want quality games. And those are possible at the not, offensively expensive budgets that a lot of these AAA publishers are pushing. It's reality. We're here. You want to charge $70 or $80 for a game? Go right ahead. But Silksong is $20. And is a longer game. That's where I'll make that comparison for price. The value for Silksong versus a AAA title and the crazed budget, but am I getting that same value? You know? When it comes to indie games, it's like, hey, make your game. You're doing your best. You don't need to compare yourself to other indie games, even though other gamers will. Ubisoft seeing people want cheaper games that are finished with no day one patch. Right. Excuse me, guys. Man, I didn't realize my throat was so scratchy this morning. The whole morning's been weird. But anyway, this is just crazy. Like, I love that indie games and smaller games are being so successful. I love seeing this. Even games like, again, Peak, and even back then, Among Us was doing well. It's still doing well. I mean, they're still developing new stuff. And they're not these, like, insane budgets. They're just fun games, which is what it's supposed to be. It's what it's supposed to be. Nintendo just needs to lower game prices. The games are amazing and finished. I know. I wish people could match that same Nintendo like quality of release that doesn't have major bugs and the day one patch isn't half the game locked behind a download. But it's just crazy. Like that AAA bubble, and it's not even the price of Silksong that brings it to question. Silksong could have launched at $30 or $40, and it still proves that the AAA industry is just too many middle managers and teams that are doing too much. These games don't have to be this massive. If they're still taking 7 years or whatever to develop, like from nothing to a finished product, smaller teams can do the same thing, obviously. And you look at a game like Silksong, where there's so much detail in every scene. There's so much going on that you know that this took a long time to make, but the difference is this game is complete. There might be some bugs in it, literally, but there might be some issues. There might be some like glitches and stuff. Those might get patched, but like on the whole, I'm pretty sure this game isn't a broken mess. Otherwise, it wouldn't have done as well as it did on day one. You know? Whereas we have AAA games that'll launch and it's like, hey, the game's graphics don't render correctly or the frame rate drops. You know? That's the impact I'm liking. I think indie developers need to calm down though. You don't have to compare, you're not competing. You're not competing directly with Team Cherry. You can learn a lot from them, honestly. Instead of worrying about what another developer is doing, make your game. Focus on your product. And if you're a AAA publisher, get wrecked, bro. Get absolutely scared. You guys have lost the plot. We're tired of seeing these really inflated budgets come to games, and then the game comes out and it's like, why did this cost this much money to make? This is the same game you made last year. We're tired of it. That's it. That's where we are. Which leads to this, and it's a funny LinkedIn reference, but it's a tweet from Destin Legary. It says, hot take today. Lots of LinkedIn posts with sour grapes over Silksong's success because it broke all the rules the industry's been telling us. On GamePass, minimal marketing, lower price point, still a hit. It's called a unicorn/outlier, but these unicorns keep happening. If every outlier keeps proving those in the system wrong, maybe it's time to ask what's broken about the system, not how the outliers got lucky. And that's facts right there. That's facts. Like, there's not so much a luck factor as in we just like good games. Real gamers just like good games. Like to have fun. It doesn't matter what the game is. It matters if it's fun, if, you can share it with other people. Like, there's a lot of factors, but it has to be a fun game. And people like different things. So something that isn't as successful might still have an audience. It's just not going to be as successful because it doesn't appeal to the masses. Sorry, that's life. Movies and books are the same way. Love Fortnite was ruined modern gaming with Battle Pass in-game purchases. I think Fortnite is a 1 in a million game, and it came out at a perfect time. AAA are trying to replicate that. Well, unfortunately, yes. AAA is far too focused on what made Fortnite successful instead of trying to make their own thing. And I guess that same argument I've made toward the comment I made towards indie devs still applies. applies to AAA. Make your game, make it good. Stop making bad products and bad games. It's really that simple. But anyway, that's enough about Silksong. It's impacting the industry. Its effects are impossible to ignore. Everything about it is what makes gaming awesome. You know, like it's like the best case scenario on all fronts, except the Chinese translation. Sorry, guys. We don't speak simplified Chinese. I don't know what that means, but here we are. All right, we got a couple of smaller stories that I thought were worth pointing out. Let's jump into those. Starfield marks 2-year anniversary with a secret message. Bethesda has hidden a secret message in a social media post, ostensibly marking Starfield's 2nd anniversary. It's only 12 seconds long and starts pretty much as you'd expect, but halfway through the video teaser, the music and visuals are interrupted. The black and blue palette is replaced by yellow and brown, and we see snippets of black text and a secret message. Thanks to some keen-eyed Starfield fans, somebody's already pieced together the clues and shared that message with us, Terran Armada. While I don't yet know what Terran Armada is, let alone when it'll release, fans are positing it's possibly the name of the next DLC or expansion, and are already sharing on the Starfield subreddit what's the top of their wish list. So Terran Armada, new DLC. I didn't know Starfield was still getting updates and stuff. So that's cool to see if you like Starfield. 2nd anniversary. Hard to believe this game came out 2 years ago. It feels like it came and went. Games that have lots of love and care put into them have been great. Death Stranding 2, DK Bonanza, Silksong, Expedition 33, still around. Me who's playing No Man's Sky with free DLC. The 20th free DLC, yeah. That's where Starfield, I think, wanted to be, but no. Can't be No Man's Sky either. But that's cool. Alright. Speaking of Bethesda, former Bethesda boss Pete Hines has strong words about subscription services in gaming. He says they're a real problem. In an interview with Double Tap, Hines began by saying he doesn't work at Bethesda anymore and is under no assumption that he knew what he knew when he was there still holds true today. What he knew, I don't know. Anyway, point he's making is, when I worked there, things are different than they are probably now. He believes he was involved enough in gaming still today to understand what I considered to be some short-sighted decision-making several years ago, and it seems to be bearing out the way I said. I'm so sorry, guys. Hines said his main issue with a subscription service like GamePass or others is that the economics might not always make sense, and that's a critical point in a world with mass layoffs, studio closures, and game cancellations. Subscriptions have become the new 4-letter word, right? You can't buy a product anymore. When you talk about a subscription that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content, without which your subscription is worth jack nothing, then you have a real problem, he said. Hines went on to say, a company behind a subscription service for games need to properly acknowledge, compensate, recognize what it takes to create that content, not just make a game, but make a product. Oh, man. So, to that point, right, this is the Netflix problem. Netflix was like, hey, we got to start making our own stuff because hosting everybody else's stuff is costing a lot. Microsoft has an inverse problem with that, where Game Pass only exists on Xbox and PC, and I guess handhelds to some degree, and then they've expanded into cloud. But you can't play Game Pass on a PlayStation or a Switch, right? And the PC version of Game Pass exists outside of ecosystems like Steam, or platforms like Steam. So I guess I understand that. Xbox makes their own games, but they publish them everywhere, even outside of Game Pass. So I don't think this holds true, because they pay a lot for those Game Pass deals, and then they put their own games also on Game Pass. I mean, that's the problem Netflix ran into, though. They didn't have enough content on without their own production companies and stuff. And then they started making their own content, and it turned out to be good. Some of it. I guess most of it's all right. I don't know. But anyway, they started producing their own content or buying existing, like getting licenses and rights to existing IP and just producing new content for their platform based on existing IP. That is also a big investment. Again, Microsoft's doing the same things. So, his criticisms there, kind of questionable. They're fitting into an ecosystem that's not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making. I disagree. Microsoft is handing out, they're writing checks for your game to be in Game Pass based on how many downloads and probably play time comes into be a factor there. The company might put some older titles on subscription services like Game Pass, and the company's done this with GTA 5. Zelnick said he wouldn't launch a brand new game into Game Pass because of the economics. Take 2 boss Strauss Zelnick has said about subscription services. Okay. Mihail, what's up, man? Some good, like K-pop Demon Hunters, and the bad, like their live action movies most of the time. I agreed. First part, Electronic Arts has a subscription service called EA Play Pro, and for $17 a month, members can get access to the company's newest games at launch. Ubisoft, meanwhile, has a subscription service called Ubisoft Plus, $18 a month. That allows members to play new releases on day one. I don't know. I don't think subscriptions are the problem, and they, as long as developers are getting paid, I think that's what's important. I think Microsoft might be in a position where they might undervalue some indie titles or overvalue some AAA titles that they feature. That might be a legit problem at some point, but I don't know. I don't know if his strong wording really plays out, because if you don't have content, you don't have a platform, but you have to build the platform, and I feel like Microsoft has done that by buying a bunch of studios and publishers. By buying Activision and Bethesda, they're able to keep a, monthly release schedule going almost across the board. So I don't know. I don't know what people think of that, but that's what it is. I find that interesting. A lot of people want to slam Game Pass, and they're actually, turns out it's kind of profitable, doing very well. So, we'll just let the fruit do the talking. Anyhow. All right. Oh, this is sad news. Nintendo ends repair support for new 2DS XL, meaning all 3DS models are now no longer supported. So, Nintendo officially ended the repair support for the new 2DS XL after it ran out of parts. Where's the thing? As we have run out of parts needed for repairs, we've discontinued repair services for the new Nintendo 2DS XL as of September 4th, 2025. Repairs for all of their 3DS series systems have also been discontinued. Excuse me. So, RIP 3DS line as a whole, RIP 2DS, it's officially gone. eShops are gone. Wii U support ended in 2024. Everything's done. It's now purely Switch 2. And that's it. That's all we got. But it's kind of sad to see it go. End of an era. That kind of thing. Man, I am struggling this morning, y'all. But anyway, yeah. So I thought that was really sad to see. And Nintendo does this. They run out of parts. They go, oh well, we can't support it anymore. It's over. Anyway. Alright, I have one last thing. It's a trailer. I want to watch it. I'm really excited for this. It's a fan remake. This isn't official, but I'm very excited to see it come out. So, yeah, let's watch it. Maybe. Can you hear it? Nobody can hear it, can they? It's probably because I muted the tab. Unmute tab. There we go. I'll restart it. It blared an ad at me earlier, so I was like, no, we're not doing that. One of the best games on the DS. I'm so pumped for this. This is so cool. I just love that they've basically ported this game, but like developed from the ground up. And I don't normally feature fan games, but this is one I want to do on stream. I think this is fantastic. I'm so pumped. The soundtrack alone to this game is just amazing. Anybody play Sonic Rush on the DS? It's so fun. I'm just so pumped for this. So anyway, there's Sonic Rush Rerun. Looks awesome. I can't wait to jump into it. I'm very excited for this remake fan game item. But they put in their description, reimagining of the Nintendo DS title, Sonic Rush. The idea behind this remaster is to take the greatest strength of the Sonic Rush trilogy, crank them up to 11, bring those strengths together to create the ultimate version of the original Sonic Rush. I want to make a definitive version of Sonic Rush for PC with additional content and to fix problems with the original game. I'm just excited to see it. They've also remixed the soundtrack and stuff a bunch. Looks cool. Very small trailer. Most people don't care, but I'm excited for it, and it's cool. I don't normally cover fan game stuff, but every so often, the Sonic modding and Sonic fan game community comes out with a cool idea, like Triple Trouble 16-bit. It was one of my favorite Game Gear games of all time, reimagined as if it were released on the Sega Genesis. It's super cool. Dan, hey from YouTube, what's up? But anyway, that's it for the game news today, y'all. That's all I got time for. So I hope y'all have a great day ahead of you. We're going to find somebody to raid out to. And then I'm going to go to work and do, I guess, real life things. So, yeah, you guys have a great day. Love you. Thankful for you. God bless. And we'll see you soon. I guess tomorrow night. Hopefully tomorrow night. Anyway, bye, guys.